people with new stories. Finally, Sepide moved completely into her new suite. Because of the last unit and the general and residential state of the motel, no one cared about her type of commuting. Everyone was there when they were there. In front of Sepide's suite there was no construction site and the pine trees blocked the view of the street and the surrounding area to the building. She could easily sit on the porch, on the chair and at her table, and drink and eat tea, coffee, or any drink along with cakes, sweets, and biscuits. The new peace that she had gained after all those events was sweet to her, and she had made a pact with herself not to tell anyone about her new place as much as possible. Although drive, Yekta had heard Sepide's official and negative answer. But with Armida's behavior when she was with him and her smile and the fact that her husband was no longer willing to return and see his son and himself, he was tempted again to propose to her for a 1-year temporary marriage, unlike before. He just didn't know how to tell her not to take a position too quickly and to think about it. At the same time, he had seen Cheyenne and Hamd and that they were also doing their best to come back and get her back. So, considering the worst-case scenario and another negative answer, he went to his office. Sohaila got up a little when she saw him and said, "Hello, doctor." "Hello, Sohaila, Ms. Is Ms. Majd sick?" "Yes, but that's it. She has to come out now." "Thank you. Can you tell them I want to take a few minutes of their time between 2 consultations?" "Very well." He picked up the phone and pressed a button, and when he heard Sepide's voice, he said, "Ms. Majd. Mr. Dr. Yekta is here. They want to talk to you between 2 consultations." And in response, he said, "Okay." After the call, he continued to Dr. Yekta, "Tell them to sit down. The consultation time is over." When the patient came out, Yekta entered the room at Sohaila's beckoning. Sepide smiled upon seeing her and motioned for her to sit on a chair. Yekta didn't know how to start. She knew that Sepide was watching her every move and easily translating. "Honestly, I don't know how to start. You know my situation, Armida's and her mother's. And you rejected my previous proposal for permanent marriage and becoming my official wife, but Armida's progress and the fact that her mother doesn't want to move, and Armida needs someone like you. Can I ask you to marry me for 1 year? Honestly, I haven't found a replacement for you either that both I and Armida can accept." Sepide looked at Yekta's hands, the movements of her fingers and legs, and finally, her face. It was interesting to her that this man, after hearing the negative answer, had received a formal and serious warning from her. Both because of Cheyenne and his past, and because of the type of behavior and messages he had sent on the phone, for which he had received an official and serious warning from her. He stepped forward and this time proposed for a 1-year marriage and that no replacement had been found. His wealth and fame had not been able to convince anyone to live with Armida. Armida had grade 1 autism, and that is why working and living with her was not very difficult. And he could be independent in most of his work. Yekta looked at her to hear her answer. Sepide said, "It is interesting to me that you heard no but came again with the proposal of temporary marriage. During this time, I think we have gotten to know each other and our personalities well. I have a guard and stubbornness against those who think that everything should be according to their wishes and that if they want, they will help them. You helped me to have a job here and leave those difficult circumstances behind. You also entrusted Armida to me for supplementary treatments. You also know that my son Cheyenne is learning here and is now a big boy and understands everything very quickly. On the other hand, my ex-husband is also sensitive again with your arrival and wants me to come back. However, if I want to accept, I have a few conditions. After Setara's death and Cheyenne's being a good man, I am not willing or ready to have children. I need to get help in the marriage contract or with an official teacher. You have also seen the way I behave and dress. So you have to accept me as I am and the right to cancel the marriage contract with me, and the dowry is 4 million. Less than 2 million is not a temporary marriage contract and the marriage is invalid. Think about it. I accept. I will be with you for 1 year. Although I promised myself, I will not let any man into my life after Hamd. Yekta smiled and said, You are a tough and honest woman at the same time. It is a pleasure that you did not say no directly to my face this time. But I think it is worth getting you even for 1 year. Thank you, Mrs. Majd. Please, doctor, I hope you will tell me your answer as soon as possible. Not that I am afraid. But I have personal circumstances and issues that may turn this yes and tacit agreement into a no again. Yekta shook her head and left the room. Sepide said to herself, Damn this life and its choices. Will fate not give up on me? She pressed the button for Sohaila and after a while the next patient, a young boy, entered.